right, and we are off. Let's get going. We're going to do another day of circle equations. All right, happy block day. Remember, we're going to have a test in a week from today. All right, a week from today. Not a check just to see, well, it's kind of a check-in just to see where you're at with the material, but it's a test just to see where you're at with the material and overall cumulative assessment of Chapter 10 overall throughout the chapter, everything that you know that we've done in Chapter 10. I think I should get that review packet to you by the end of the week, by Friday. I would expect it. Okay, videos next week, but review packet and key on Friday. All right. Goals are basically the same as today, so we're just going to go a little bit deeper. There's a warm-up. I already put the equation here for you. The question is going to come up, are you going to be given this on the actual test? You got that green sheet, right? The green sheet with all the angles and the circle formulas. I'm going to allow you to write this on the back of that. Okay, I will collect those sheets after your test, okay? But I will allow you to write this on the back, all right? You will not be able to write problems on the back of that sheet, okay? You can't write like an example, all right? But you can write this equation down, okay? There's a warm-up. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 warm-up problems there, all right? 2 of them are graphing. The others are just identifying and then writing an equation. This one's a bit of a challenge. The radius is root 6. Give it a shot. Ready, set, pause the video here, and try it. All right, here we go. I got my center as 4, -3. Opposite -4, positive. Opposite of positive 3, negative. Square root of 25 is 5 for my radius. All right, write the equation. 4, 5, so x minus 4 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals r squared. So the radius was root 6, okay? So r is equal to root 6, and I want to talk about this. So if I squared my r, if I squared root 6, if I square the square root, it drops out, so it's just equal to 6. Okay, no, there is not a square root of 6, right? But this term is r squared. So when I square the square roots cancel each other out. They're inverse operations, so you're just left over with 6. I would never ask you to graph something like this where it was a radius of root 6. All right, let's graph these two. I made all my major points there. I was going to put the circles in last. Okay, just so you guys can check your work. There's my center, 4, 5, and my radius of 3. And my circle with my handy-dandy circle tool looks something like that. Center is 2, -5. Radius of 5. It should look something like that. And there's my circle tool like that. All right, let's keep going. There's your warm-up. We're going to take it one step further now. All right, so instead of giving you the radius, we're going to actually have to find the radius, okay? Which means we're going to have to find the distance between these 2 points. Well, how do you find the distance between 2 points? You got to use our favorite thing, the distance formula. Okay, so x2 minus x1 squared plus, I know this is what you're saying out loud, like, oh, I know distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared. Oh, buckets, I didn't mean to do that. Oh man, let's scramble here. Y2, holy cow, minus y1. Wow, it's so much fun squared. There we go. Okay, you guys remember that? So I'm gonna plug my values in. This is the point that's on the circle. I just made the most common mistake. X1, Y1, X2, Y2, and then throw. We know. Why don't you guys try? I'm gonna pause here because it's easier. I'm gonna save some time while plugging it in. You try plugging it in and set it up, and then we'll see if we get the same thing. So I had x2, which was -1, minus y1, or excuse me, x1, so minus -5, which made it plus 5, and then y2, which is 3, minus y1, which is 6. So this is -1 plus 5, which is 4 squared, plus -3 squared. Now here's a common mistake. When you plug this into your calculator, use parentheses. I cannot stress this enough. I cannot tell you how many people got points taken off for this in the past. All right, in this class, like this has happened this year. Okay, you've squared -3 and you've got -9. All right, whenever you square a negative number, it is positive. Okay, whenever you square a negative number, you get a positive number. Square root of 25 is 5. So what did we just find? We just found the distance from the center to a point on the circle. Holy buckets, terrible line. Okay, or in other words, we found our radius. All right, so let's write the standard form of this equation. There's going to be out of this circle. Our center was negative 1, 3, so it's x opposite plus 1 squared. Opposite negative 1 is positive 1. And now we're just doing what we know. If r is 5, r squared is 25. That would be our answer. Boom. Okay, I'm going to do another one like that. It might have gone fast. The only new part of this type of problem is just find the distance. And we've done that in the past. So I don't think it's that terrible. All right, it's that huge of a difference. Okay, so let's find the distance here. All right, x1, y1, x2, y2. Sounds like I'm singing a song. So distance equals x2, so we got 1 minus 4 squared plus 4 minus 1 squared, which is negative 3 plus 3, both squared. I forgot the squared, I forgot the square root. All right, so 1 minus negative 3, 4 minus 1 is 3. 9 plus 9, which is square root of 18. Okay, now there is no square root of 18. I could simplify it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. And this because this is our r, right? So let's go back to this one. I didn't have to recognize that the square root of 25 is 5, right? If I asked you, say, hey, what is the radius? You would have said 5. Okay. Or because of that, if I square the root 25, I just got 25. I could have jumped from here straight to there, okay? In this part, I'm going to say that r squared then is just 18, right? Because if I square both sides, these two things cancel out. Okay, you kind of see that? That goes back, that kind of ties into our one of our warm-up problems. If I got the distance to be the square root of a number, then r squared will just be whatever that number is underneath the square root. Okay? So if I write my equation, my center is 1 comma 4, x minus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 18. Since the radius is the square root of 18, the radius squared is just 18. Why don't you guys try this one? Pause the video, all right, then I'll just show my work afterwards. So give it a pause, stop. What? Let's TikTok it. You ready? Pause it. I guess that didn't really work. I guess if I'm not covering the well, whatever. You get the point. All right. So here's what I got. This is my answer. All right. I did x1 or x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. Yeah, 4 minus 4. These cancel out. 0 squared is just 0. Okay, so really negative 2 squared is just 4. All right. So remember, negative 2 times negative 2 is Could I have jumped right to here? Yeah, I could have, and just gone root 4. All right, so r squared is just 4. And this was my equation. Okay? All right. Well, things are going to get a little tricky here. Okay, things are going to get a little tricky. We're going to practice this. We're going to practice this thing a little bit more. We're going to do something called completing the square. Okay, now you've done this in your Algebra 2 classes. All right, this has definitely been discussed in the past. Okay, it's not going to be that bad. All right, it's not going to be that bad. I think we're gonna do pretty well with this. All right. Notice I'm asking you to write the standard form of the equation and identify the center and the radius, and then graph it. Okay. Well, this looks a lot different than this, doesn't it? So we have to take this equation here and put it into something that looks like that. All right. So there's a special way we have to do this. We have to complete the square. Okay. And what does that look like? Well, I'm going to rewrite my equation. X squared minus 8x. And I'm going to write plus blank. And I'm going to do plus y squared plus 4y plus blank equals 16. And then I have to write plus blank plus blank. All right? Now, why do I have to write the blanks on both this side and the right side? Well, whatever I put in the blank on the left, I have to also add to the right. What I do to one side, I have to do the other. That's something you've been taught in algebra for a long time. Okay? So that stays true. We got to keep it balanced. Well, how do I figure out what I put in that? I do this term right here divided by 2 and then square it. So 8 divided by 2 squared. What is 8 divided by 2? 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 squared is 16. 16. Same thing here. 4 divided by 2 squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Okay? Now the tricky part. That's not necessarily the tricky part. What happens here? Well, this is still x. So this is a negative 8. It's negative. What was negative 8 divided by 2? It was 4. Plus y. This is a positive 4, so it's positive. What was 4 divided by 2? Well, it was 2. Squared equals 16 plus 16 is what? 32. 32 plus 4, 36. And now we can identify our center, which is 4 comma negative 2, and our radius of 6. Let's not graph it. My graph got covered, and I think that was tough enough. The graph part is probably not the hardest part. All right, let's do that again. Let's group our x's together. X squared minus 2x plus blank plus y squared plus 6y plus blank equals 6 plus blank plus blank. All right, I'm going to pause here since I'm kind of running out of time. All right, and then I want you to figure out what goes in each of these 4 blanks. Go. Here we go. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. What I do to one side, I do out of the other. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. What I do to one side, I got to do the other. So, now we have to write that in our standard form. Well, this is negative, so it's x minus. What was 2 divided by 2? It's 1. X minus 1 squared. Plus, this 6 is positive, so it's y plus. What is this number divided by 2? Oh, it's 3. And then I just add those numbers on the right. 6 plus 1 plus 9 gives me 16. Center is then 1, negative 3, and the radius is 4. All right, I want you to pause, and I want you to try this one on your own. Remember, group your x's and y's together. What you add to one side, you got to do to the other. All right, here's all my work. Okay, half of 8 is 4. 4 squared gave me 16. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other. Negative 8, negative. Half of 8, 4. Positive 6, positive. Half of 6, 3. Negative 9 plus 16 is just 16. There's my center. There's my radius. We're going to practice this a lot on Friday, okay, a lot with the circle equations. Hopefully, this process wasn't too bad, okay. I'm guessing that these problems went a heck of a lot better than these, and that's okay. If you're feeling a little iffy on this, that's all right. Don't freak out. It's going to be okay. We'll get you there, all right. There's going to be a big ideas assignment for this, okay. Maybe actually a practice sheet for this as well, all right. If you have any questions, don't ask me, ask the sub. All right, have a great rest of your day.